I'm Sue Ellen Langley. I'm the librarian here at Creekside Elementary, and I'm also the VEX IQ robotics coach. I decided to host a camp this summer with our VEX IQ robots because during the school year, just a handful of kids get to experience VEX. I don't have enough sets to go around. So this way more kids get the exposure to the building and hopefully the programming before this afternoon's over. And they've had a really good week.
No, they're each 5 points. Oh crap. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
I literally just knocked everything
You
off.
got off, that's fine. So we got. No. You got rank off too.
You have 5 points for each of them.
30 and you have 100.
I'm gonna reach it.
You have to be the middle.
Hey, you guys go.
Going for this. Almost got it.
Almost got it, guys. Come on. It won't work that way.
You're gonna have to lift it up. Hey, Connor, I think you might need a help with that one.
Hold on.
Hey,
Quick!
Get it,
stuck.
get it.
You almost got it.
Oh, drop it down.
yeah, hit it.
Look full.
Hit it down here.
He's running points.
Push it in.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, 3 points. Okay, well, let's get those.
Time's up.
Oh, time.
Oh, we still got 20.
Start the game and reset.
My name is Logan Mentor, and I'm in 4th grade. I am going into 5th grade. I am doing VEX IQ camp, and we're building a robot right now, but we are writing a paper about our robot.
My name is Leanna. I'm in 3rd grade, and we are building robots in robotics.
Hi, my name is Lila Coley. I am going into 5th grade, and this week we did lots of cool stuff with robotics. We made lots of levers and pulleys, and then at one day we even made ourselves our own robot. We made a stretch robot. We named it Bubblebot, and it is really good at picking up rings, putting them on the post, and knocking down the 20-pointer.
Set, go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got it.
No!
Drive it forward, drive it forward, drive it forward. There, they fixed it.
Okay, guys, give me a second. Everybody, eyes on me. You 4 teams that are ready, we're going to put 2 of you on the high rise right now and 2 of you over here on Ringmaster. You need to reset the fields. Remember, there's 10 in each row and then 1 on each block over there on the high rise. We won't worry too much about the color right now. Y'all just need practice maneuvering. And you guys have been resetting this one, so you know how that one works. And Leah, could you do the timer for me? Because you know how to start and stop it. We're going to run it on the timer. We haven't done that yet. But when it starts, you'll hear a horn blast, and it'll let you know. And then at that mark where you have to switch drivers, it'll make a sound. You'll hear it the first time around. We'll play it here in a second so you can hear it. It'll make a sound so that you'll know you've got 10 seconds to get switched with your driver, okay? And then we'll score and see how you do. But practice those driving skills. Getting kids involved in VEX early is a really good idea because they get that problem-solving practice. A lot of them have already done some modifications. They're like, oh, I'm going to change this because it'll work better. And I said, I love to see that thought process. And to get them started early in STEM projects is the best way to go. So that's your starting whistle. And then the time will go until it gets to 35 seconds. And hang on, listen for this sound. And when it sounds, you have 10 seconds to switch drivers. That's the switch driver sound. And then it'll do it again when you should be switched. And if you're not switched, you need to pass it off fast. Okay? And then there's a whistle at the end. Okay, so you should have 2 teams on this side. So 4 drivers on this side. You have to be over here.
We're good too.
Yeah. Are you guys ready?
Yeah. We're ready.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1.
You guys' string is knocking over all those. Play over. I know how to do it. Is it stuck? Don't think about it's supposed to come off. I got one. Mine's trying to get this. Do I get it? No. Oh no. It's stuck. Hey, Robot, can you take it off? Yeah, I got you. Come on, let's see. 1, 2, 22 points. 22 points here.
STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And a lot of times kids don't get to do things in that realm in the regular classroom. We are venturing out more and more. The classroom teachers are doing a really great job of that. But in the past, it's been lacking. So we try to expose them to more of that problem-solving type thinking and processing things. All of these, all you gotta do is shove them to get points. I mean, you don't have to be able to stack them up. Stacking them up gets more points, but you should be shoving those just as fast as you can past this square so you can get up and form zone, okay? Yep, you're gonna reset the field. If you're on a team of 4, let the other 2 people drive. If you're on a team of 3, one of you swap out.
Go back and get more. Get that running radius. This one. Come on. Go. Get that one. No, that's a 10-second warning. That's a 10-second warning. Okay, come on, guys. Switch. Come on. Yes, get those boxes and come over there. Don't switch on the first one. The first one is a 10-second warning. Come on. What are you doing? Oh. Wait, where's mine going? Come on. Guys, block. Yep. Guys, over here. Shove them past the blue block and you're good. That's over. What happened right here? Okay. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
In this camp, it inspired me to do this more often and do it every year to get more trained and stuff. I learned about wiring stuff and a lot more about robotics. The experience that I've had in this camp will help me become like an engineer.
I've learned how to put together robots. I've learned about levers and pulleys and how they can all work. And I've learned some of the new courses that, well, not really new because, well, some of the courses that we used, and it was just really fun to be able to experience that. It actually has teach me how to do a lot of programming, which will help me in the future, and how to control stuff, and how to just build a robot. It's really fun.
Then you got to put this on the top and then the motor on. Let me know if you need any help.
Right in, or it's okay to take a few seconds and then switch, but don't shout. Come on, one another. When people are driving, you gotta let them drive. Even if they make a mistake, you gotta learn from it. Ooh, screaming at them does not help. We're missing like 3 of these. Please, with the driving team on this time.
I need one more. I'll do
I had a group of 17 4th and 5th graders, incoming 4th and 5th graders, signed up for camp. And this week they have built several simple machines and then a drivetrain. And yesterday they broke that down and started from scratch and built robots. I've got 4 different robot designs on 5 different teams. And we're just going to practice doing some things with a couple of the old VEX IQ games. We have the High Rise game, which I've actually never competed in. That was before my time. And then we also have the Ringmaster game that was from last year. So they're going to practice their driving skills a lot today and kind of develop that, because that's a skill I really look for when I start picking my teams for the school year. And hopefully this afternoon we might get to some programming with the Robot C programming.
Ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Move on. I don't know which way this thing turns. Move. Yes, you do it just like that other one. Stop running into her. Stop running into her. No. You're gonna break it. Stop.
Put your controls down and fix it, guys.
I got it. My turn. 10-second warning. 10-second warning.
No, start. You can switch still, man.
My turn. Like one of those rich promised me.
Controllers down.
On day 1, we made a lever, a pulley, all by ourselves. We had no instructions. We just had to look at a picture and figure out what pieces we needed.
So the second day we started finishing our robot that we started on the first day. So then we got to drive it around and we built obstacle courses for the robots to drive through.
Today, we finished our robots and we started to drive them.
We haven't gotten to compete, but we have gotten to go on one of the courses, and it's called Ringmasters, and it's more of a teamwork thing. So there's one part of it where it's like the scoring zone, and if you push it into it, you get 1 point. If you get one of the rings on the poles, you get 5 points, and if you knock some of the rings down, you get 20 points. So the point of the game is trying to get as much points as you can, but you're not working against the other team. You're trying to work together.
It's because you're putting it on the wrong way. I think. It can go the other direction if we can get it lined up right. Yeah, this part, see, if you look at the picture carefully, this part right here has where your port's going to plug in. So that's what goes to the front. So you don't put it this way, it's this way. Okay? So it doesn't quite stick out as much because you're going in down here instead of up here. Hello, ma'am. So the problem is we got to get our ports lined up. I need an axle. I just needed one, honey. I'm just trying to turn this. See, it's the green one. See the hole? You have to have it lined up so that it'll fit.
That's something I had to do whenever I was building the base of the robot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Of course, if we turn it this way, that might help too. Ugh. This is the biggest pain.
Is that one the hardest?
What? Just lining up the motor sometimes is just a pain.
Hey!
Got it.
Now we just need batteries.
You need a cord too. It's not gonna go anywhere without the motor connected. Do you know which motor to plug that into?
Can I plug it in, Logan?
Yeah.
The motor, this one down here on the bottom, goes into one. The one down there on the bottom's got to go up to port 1. That's port 1, and it's going to plug into this motor. Let's see how long that is. Is that long enough? Yeah. So here's what I do. Send it right through there. Plug that one in. And you can go ahead and plug this one in. It's going to go to port 12. So where's this side motor going to go to? Over here. Where's it going to?
Right there.
What number?
10.
Okay. So Harper, the side one's going to go to 10. Yeah, right here, 1. Make sure it clicks, because if it doesn't click, it's not connected. There you go. So this side one's going to go to port 10, which will be on the other side. Oh, you got to get 12 in too, don't you? And then Logan, when she's ready, tell her which one that real big long cord goes to from.
No, not that one. This one right here.
No, that one goes, this is going to port 12. You need one more cord.
The food. Yes. I mean, honestly, real food. I can't believe we might have to take it. Isn't this the last day?
Another thing that VEX exposes the kids to is problem solving and journal writing and planning out their robot, what they want to build, what they want to accomplish with it. So what are they going to have? A robot that'll lift, a robot that'll move things. So working through that process and journaling and writing it down, why they modified something, how they modified it, what the purpose was. So keeping that engineering notebook is a real important step when we get into our VEX teams. Okay, so another part of the VEX program, not just the building and the competitions, another part is to track, what you've done, what your thought process and why you did what you did. We haven't done that in our 2 short days that we've been here, but we're going to do at least one journal entry of what you guys have done. So did you get the papers, honey? Okay. So the journal entries, you would start at the beginning, thank you, and make your plan. Like this is one from last year. It says today we built half of the robot and started a little on the other part. Tomorrow we plan to finish. So this is very basic beginning engineering notebook for first year robotics kiddos last year. So as you get into it more, then you'll start doing some drawings, some outlines. So your page basically that I've got for you today looks like, if I can find a blank one, looks like this one. And so I want you to think about what you've done, especially yesterday and today. That first day we were, building pulleys, building, what else we built, guys, first day? A pendulum, wheels and axles. We talked about gear ratios, right? We built the drivetrain at the end of the day. Good. So then the second day was when we really started our build, what you all chose to build and what you wanted to do. Some of you started all the way from scratch. You did an awesome job, got done basically in one day. So think about what your thought process was choosing that robot. Why did you choose that robot? What were you hoping that it would do during the challenges that we're going to do? Whatever your thought process was. You can draw a picture of the robot. I don't want this whole part to be a drawing, like some words, like so you can write on these lines and on the bottom. But let's just do a journal entry. Each one of you is going to do it because even though Gage and Leanne are on the same team, they may have different reasons and different thought processes for what they did. If you've had to make modifications, raise your hand if you've had to modify that robot in any way. Yeah, we've had several modifications, and you guys are like, oh, I just had to think, do this on my own. Who said improvise yesterday? Was that you? Kept saying this. Oh, it was Gage. I had to improvise, Miss Lane. This didn't work. And that's great. That's thinking on your feet and solving these problems, thinking outside the box. So anything you did like that, any type of improvising or modifications, put in, we changed our stretch robot because this kept happening, and this is what we did and how we fixed, kind of talk through that process. So we're going to do an engineering notebook entry, okay?
Pencils are on the square table, or there might be some in the basket over there where my crowns are. You know where those are.
That's the I should fix. Because we can spend their money.
You're going to be sharing these.
My favorite thing that we were doing was building the brand new robot because it was like kind of confusing but kind of fun.
My favorite part was probably being able to drive it, because I just think driving is really fun, to be able to control the robot and to see it do all these amazing stuff, like to bring the claw up and bring it down. It's just really amazing.
My favorite thing has been to build the actual real robot and to drive it, and it's just so fun to build things you've never built before. It's a lot of pieces, and I think it's really fun to connect those pieces. Like, it's just so kind of satisfying.
The plan for get us through the rest of the day, we're going to share some of our journal entries, see what you all, the feedback you guys can give me and your reflection that you can give me from what you've done for the last couple of days. Then after that, we're going to watch a few videos. I think the videos can probably explain it much better than I can. I'm still learning. I've only been doing this for a few years, and I'm learning. I didn't know anything about robots when I started. So we're going to watch some videos on Robot C Graphical. That's the programming software that we use to program our robots. And we're going to just kind of watch that. It's a whole lot like that hour of code that we do every year, where you just drag in the blocks and tell it what to do, and you might change numbers, like as far as how far you want it to move and things like that. But we'll talk about programming. And maybe try to do a little programming this afternoon before we start breaking our robots back down. I know that's sad, but you will. I've only got so many laptops that we can use, and you guys are going to be driving while some other people are working on programming. You're going to get to drive yours, so that's the first thing you're going to do after we get done with the videos. Okay? I'm going to let those batteries charge back up because y'all have really driven a lot today. So who wants to share their journal entry? Come on up, Alex. Speak nice and clear so everybody can hear you.
Okay, so today we tested our robot and found out that it can pick up blocks, and our robot also plows blocks, because sometimes if it doesn't want to pick it up, it just pushes it.
Okay. Good. Do you think there's any modifications you could make that would make it work better?
No, because it has a block that to keep the block in, and it doesn't let it pick it up like that.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Who else wants to share?
So over the few days, we have learned lots about robots. For example, our group created an original Clawbot, but throughout the building process, we had to change and modify. If you were wondering what we had to change, we had to change up the arm because we accidentally built the arm wrong. Also, me and Abel were having trouble on the ladder, so we got help and finally did it. Also, in Robotics, we learned 5 new games. So in all, I have learned lots and had a really fun time.
Thank you. I like that you talked about how you made a mistake and you had to go back and redo, because sometimes it's challenging. You put something together and maybe you misread directions or skipped a step. We've had a couple of those happen, skipping a step. And you've got to go back and review and see what you need to change. All right? Gage? Come on, share your picture. You did a nice job. Tell us what you built.
We built We named him Bubblebot, and he picks up the rings and the blocks, and he can stack them. And that's it.
Good. Nice job.
Girls can do just as good as boys.
That you can totally do it. You can do anything. It's not just for boys, and you can totally. It's really fun, and I actually went to a camp that was called Girl Powered for Girl Robotics, and it taught me about like how girls can do it, and it taught me about this one girl who actually was who worked in a factory, and she was the only girl there, and it was really amazing to me, and it inspired me because I really wanted to do that, because I think it's kind of cool how you can do this, and like you can show other people that girls can always do this too, and girls can do anything.
You guys will find, the more you do robotics, you guys will find that you'll have a certain part of the process that you're stronger at. Some of you are really strong builders. You follow those instructions explicitly. You're not going to miss a step. You've got it. You're going to make sure your directionality is right when you're putting things together. That's where you excel. Some of you are going to be really great drivers. And when you're out there competing, you know exactly how to maneuver the robot and do what you need to do to get the points that you need to get. Some of you will have a hard time driving, and it's a struggle, and it's hard to learn how to drive. That's kind of a natural skill, but you can do it. It just takes a lot of practice. And some of you will excel at programming. There's this part with the computer and writing the programs, and that's where your niche is going to be. But there's going to be something that you're stronger at probably than others, okay? Just got to look at it and try. On the right motor, he has the reversed check mark. That's because for whatever reason, maybe he put it in the wrong direction, or maybe he wanted it to do something differently. He needed it was turning one way, and he needs it to turn the other. So he's got the reverse on, so that when you try to make it go or push the button to make it go, it's going to go the opposite direction. So you can control some things like that using your Robot C program when you program your robot for things. You remember when we did our code and we talked about loops? I think we did some of that on the Santa tracker around Christmas time. So a loop, what does a loop mean? Just repeats it over and over and over again. So he put it in that repeat forever loop, so that those controls, those motors and everything will always work with those controls the way he wants them. Okay, so that's the very beginning of it. He was changing and setting those controllers for the motors and the ports. We, fortunately, are already kind of set up because we've used them for competitions before. So when you all plugged them in to where they were going, we didn't have to go in and do that. But that's how you would go about it. And when the new year starts, when my teams start up, we may have to make some changes like that in Robot C. So you do have to make sure each of the ports is controlling whatever you're wanting it to control and moving it the directionality that you want it to move in. I think VEX is a really important program for all students, even at a younger age. We start at 4th grade and it goes all the way through high school. Some of our high school teams have really done amazing things in the past, and I'm sure they will continue in the future. It's important that we keep the support up for these programs through companies or funding, whatever we need to do, because it's a realm that really needs to be grown in our county.
It's really fun to build the robots and build the stuff that you build.
It's a lot like technology and like engineering and designing.
You should really do it because it's really fun, and you could really learn, and it could really help your future. And I mean, it's just really amazing. So you should try it.